Welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast. We talk all things comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and more. Today, we are talking our favorite video games based on movies. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Lance O'Neill.
We're just going to jump right into it. Usually we start with, pop culture updates. But thank you all for listening and being a part of our weekly episodes here. But please continue to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us and what you love, and you even tell us what you don't love. What do you want to hear more or less of here on Nightcap Chat? But I'm very excited for this topic today. We have so many things written down. I'm not even sure we're gonna get through them all.
Yeah, there's a lot. And we did. It was a quick. I'm just gonna think of a few things. So there could be things that we even just completely forgot about.
So we're going to see what we get through today, and maybe this will end up, maybe we'll have a part 2, in a couple of weeks here. Right off the bat, though, I think we have to start with one of the earliest successful video games that have been based on a movie.
Goldeneye?
Yeah.
Goldeneye? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Goldeneye. And that's probably one of the, I'm going to date myself a little bit here. It's probably one of the earliest games I ever played as a kid.
And I think it was probably also the most, had the biggest effect, I think, on both of us as far as video games goes.
Yeah, for first-person shooters, for sure. I mean, before that, it was like Mario.
Yeah, I mean, Mario's great. Don't get me wrong, but
I love Mario.
But GoldenEye is kind of like the gateway of like Halo and all those other great games.
Fortnite, yeah.
Fortnite,
first-person shooters.
First-person shooters. GoldenEye that was it. It was such an awesome, fun, unique experience.
The GoldenEye video game is actually what got me into James Bond.
Huh? I didn't really.
Yeah, because I played that game first, and there were all the cutscenes stuff. Like, wow, what is this? It's based on James Bond. Like, oh, there's movies. And first it was Sean Connery, and it wasn't even Pierce Brosnan until recently. Up until that point. I don't know what the first Bond movie was that I saw. It might have been GoldenEye, because I really wanted to see GoldenEye. And I remember thinking, oh, that's the level, of the facility, and and then it wasn't until I watched more James Bond movies that I realized they were referencing different movies in some of them.
Because certain characters were in there that were
there
in
were characters.
Other movies, right?
I want to say there was levels, and there were guns, because the golden gun was not a GoldenEye thing. That was the man with the golden gun.
Because Scaramanga was in it.
Yeah, Christopher Lee.
And Oddjob and Jaws, and they were all in that movie.
Yep, exactly. I mean, there was a Moonraker, laser gun. Remember that?
So now that we're going over it, it wasn't exactly a movie only then.
But but you in the playthrough, you played through GoldenEye.
Yes, you did.
You meet up with Alec Trevelyan, who's played by Sean Bean in the beginning. The dialogue wasn't always perfect, and you can't help but wonder whether certain things written for the game were there deleted scenes, because there was remember one of the first levels you have to free the scientist. It's like, time to leave now, Dr. Doak.
Yeah, and that whole thing was just not in the movie. None of that, right?
No. But then they did have the thing where you put the mines on the gas tanks or whatever they are to blow up the whole facility. That's actually a big part of the movie there.
I remember they looked very similar to the ones of the movie too, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's really bad, I know it's really bad graphics, but you could see oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to kind of look like.
What's funny is I remember when watching the movie, I was like, well, those are a lot bigger than I thought they were going to be. It didn't. The size of them definitely didn't translate. But I mean, that's got to be one of the definitive.
Well, I think it's one of the best games just in general. Forget about movie games. It's just a classic. One of the greatest games ever for its generation. Obviously, you're not going to say, "Oh, that's Halo's no way. That's better than Halo." It's for its era. It was one of the greatest games.
I mean, you had your family or friends over, and you sat down and you gathered around your little 20-inch TV with the 4 controllers plugged in, right next to it, and you huddled around and you had the four persons. You're like, oh, don't look at my screen.
You don't look at my screen. You were looking at my screen. How'd you know I was there? And your little tube television.
Mm-hmm. Good times for sure.
Yeah, that game was awesome. And then there's a little customability with that game too, with being able to choose like different game modes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like pistols only, mines only, rockets.
It's kind of a little ahead of its time there.
Sure. Yeah, I don't see why not.
And that's kind of what was like the fun part of the Halo games when Halo 3 came out, and with all the custom online matchmaking. That's really what was, for me, that's what the selling point was, and the why I love that game so much. And it's the same thing with GoldenEye.
Yeah, I know. I think that set a precedent going forward with future Bond games, having those customizations, really made that couch co-op,
Yeah, after that was Agent Under Fire. That was the next Bond game that we really, really played a lot.
That was the next game that we played a lot.
Yeah, something we played a lot.
There was The World Is Not Enough that came out on N64, which was also based on a film, but it just wasn't as good.
Right. Agent Under Fire wasn't based off of anything, but it was still really a very good game.
Yeah, that and Nightfire.
Nightfire, yeah. But another game that's kind of not great graphics, but still fun is Lego games, the Lego Star Wars.
Yeah,
Lego Lord of the Rings, those games.
Yeah, we're kind of lumping them all into here.
Even Lego Avengers a little bit, because you do play through some of the Avengers, movies. Kind of like GoldenEye, you play through part of it, right? You play through some of the movies,
kind of.
But there's a lot more of outside the movies. So
yeah, the Lego Lord of the Rings in particular, I really enjoyed. Lego Star Wars is what got me into the Lego games. I believe I played through, it was the prequel trilogy first. And it's been fun to watch these games evolve, because before it was like, there was no talking, they're
right.
like, "Mrr." And then eventually, I don't know when they stopped doing it, and then all of a sudden there was talking. And so I was really surprised when I played through the Lego Lord of the Rings that they actually used the dialogue from the movie.
I don't know if I don't know. I loved the original Lego Star Wars games.
Yeah, they were good.
And there was something about that was just so funny, because you knew what they were trying to say. And I feel like it adds some comedic value to certain scenes. Because obviously when they did, really big scenes that you would, memorable scenes, they would do them, but they wouldn't do them always like exactly like the movie. They would add some silly little Lego things, but then they would have the and you knew like what he was trying to say. It was just, I don't know. I really enjoyed when they did that, the little mumbles.
Especially if it's something darker and they just make it completely ridiculous. Like I think there's something whether at the end of episode 3, I don't know if it's like when Padme dies of sadness, or if when Anakin gets chopped up and gets set on fire, for Order 66, but there's things in there.
I know there's something in one of the Star Wars.
It was silly.
They changed something super dark and it went just another direction.
And Lord of the Rings had its moments too. But I mean, they're enjoyable, even if you're not a kid. Like as an adult, like they're even challenging. Like I find, like I play the games with my wife usually, and like we get stuck sometimes, and we have to look it up because the puzzles are just
some of them are good.
The
newer ones are even more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I played the Lego Avengers 2. I know it's a little off topic, but those are even more complicated because they've added some other different concepts to the game. So there's more room for what could this be?
We glitched it and we're stuck, and we'll have to start over.
The Lego Star Wars, the second one,
Lego Marvel 2,
yeah,
because there's in the underwater place. There's a back section and an outside section, and you get run up on by some bad guys. So I don't know if it was me or Erica. We went into there, and you need a particular ability to get out of the thing by breaking through it. We glitched through in there, and now that character is stuck, and we can't get past it now.
Even if you try starting another mission with somebody else?
Oh, like quit?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Just quit.
Oh, okay.
I think you can just quit.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to look.
We should try. That would be very bad.
That was frustrating. But yeah, they're really good. Very, very, very good.
Well, staying on the Lord of the Rings topic.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings to Two Towers.
Oh my goodness.
And The Return of the King.
I think these are some of the most underrated video games of all time, let alone movie video games. I don't hear people talking about them really, but like these are games that we've played through actually several times.
Yeah, a lot. And we even got stuck on for a while because we didn't realize what version did we have? The GameCube version?
That is a good question. Maybe the Two Towers was the GameCube because I think the Return of the King I had for the Xbox 360.
I think you're right. But I specifically remember we kept getting stuck on oh my gosh, when you're battling on the
what?
You know when there's you have to knock down the ladders, right?
Oh yeah.
We kept getting stuck at that part because we couldn't figure out a certain ability. And when I watched a video online or looked up like a tutorial type of thing back when there was like, easycheats.com was like the only website you could go to figure out like how to beat a video game. Mm-hmm. And realized that on PlayStation or on Xbox, there was this bar that would slowly like go up and you had to like raise it, like hold down Y or something to like generate like a hit that knocks over the ladders or knocks their shield off or something. Mm-hmm. But on the GameCube version that we always played, that wasn't even there. So we never knew that was a thing. I remember that specifically being like, why wasn't it on GameCube? It's kind of like an error on the devs or whatever. 2002.
How did you watch that? Like at school
I wasn't
or something?
watching. I think it was just like a screenshot on Cheat Shark or one of those websites where I was like watching it and I was like, wait a minute, that's not in the game. Or it might have been a trailer for the thing, and I just kind of put it together.
Huh.
Where I was like, wait, we don't have that in our version. And I realized that like it was saying like triangle, and like obviously we're playing GameCube, there's no triangle.
Yeah.
But that's how I put it together. Like, wait, that wasn't included in the GameCube version of the game. But it's still the same idea. But anyway, those games were so much fun to play through.
Absolutely.
And there was replay value, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah, you play through with your cousins or whatever. Kara.
And I also remember
my dog.
I also remember there was like a point system, right?
Yeah, there was like a level up system. So like you could actually level up, Gandalf or Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, whatever. And then but like you kept your status there, so it actually made playing through it again, easier.
Right. And I remember we're trying to grind for like, you get combos, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it was just so much fun. I missed it.
But essentially, you play through. It's what's it called? Like it's not open world. It's like a coaster, like a, anyway, it's very linear. Your waves of orcs, you fight the boss kind of a thing. But I mean, it was just enjoyable, Return of the King, I remember coming out before the movie came out. I remember like playing through it, and I think I might have stopped at a certain point because I didn't want any spoilers for the end. What was interesting though was when Eowyn is fighting the Witch King looks completely different. Really? I think they used some like concept art or something. He was just completely covered in armor, and he had this helmet that completely covered his face, and it was very like, let's say like straight lines, like how crowns have like things pointing up, but that would go like all the way down his face. The Witch King was very different. So I don't know if they used like old concept stuff for that. And I want to say you fought the Mouth of Sauron.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Trying to remember.
I'm trying to remember the Return of the King. I remember the Two Towers very well because I think you played the Return of the King way more than me.
Yeah, that's possible. Mm-hmm. But that was what the Witch King looked like. Oh, what's next on the docket?
How about some Spider-Man 2?
Oh my goodness. talk about replay value. Those games were a lot longer. Two Towers and Return of the King were relatively short. Spider-Man 2, I felt like was just longer. You know,
you also, I mean, there is replay value, but you also just didn't even have to do a mission. You could just, I remember just playing for like a couple hours and I literally didn't do anything but swing around New York City and, stop a couple crimes.
It's like that Grand Theft Auto thing. Like, I'm just going to steal a car and run some people over for an hour.
Right. There was one of those games that you didn't even have to really accomplish anything and you still had a lot of fun. And
it was like an extended version of the movie because there were all these extra stories. Because, I mean, there was the Doc Ock stuff. But, I mean, you're playing and then like the Rhino shows up and he does some stuff. You have to stop the Rhino. And remember the Mysterio levels? Like, you have all these extra subplots and it kind of, this was before the MCU. So it was like, it felt very expansive, and plus you couldn't go all around Manhattan.
Yeah.
Like that was awesome.
And the new Spider-Man, it's similar to like the new Spider-Man it's like kind of, the new Spider-Man game has similar things, just, same concept, but now they add way more into the universe than was there when back then. But I remember even just flying, swinging into like, in the Hudson River, just trying to see how far I can get and to fly into the Hudson. Like, can I reach that buoy? And then of course, like I never made it.
Yeah.
But he always had good commentary too. Nothing like a good New York water to clear out the sinuses, right?
That's right.
And there was another one that was really good. Can't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but that one always stuck with me. That was always a good one.
Of course, you can deliver the pizza.
I forgot about that.
And then there was the pizza music.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot.
And it'll like speed up as you're trying to deliver the pizza.
Yeah.
You could get to not the Empire State Building. You can get to the Statue of Liberty, at least once you unlock the Mysterio thing, because all those ships appear, so you can swing ship to ship to get to the Statue of Liberty. But remember, he like changed the Statue of Liberty to like a headless version of it, or like himself, and he's like, "Give me your tired, your poor, so I can enslave them all." And then Spider-Man's like, "That's just messed up."
I was about to say the same thing. It was just messed up. Wow. Huh. That was a great game.
Yeah. And it was, like I said, it was like an extended version of the movie, which just added so much more to it.
And it was probably the first really big Marvel game that we had outside of like, Marvel versus Capcom.
There was a Spider-Man 1 game.
There was, yes.
Didn't impact me as much, but it was that one was still pretty good.
It was
it
good.
Had different costumes and stuff.
Although actually, I take it back. The X-Men game was good.
What you mean, X-Men 2?
No, the X-Men fighting game.
Oh,
but the thing is, it was fighting games. Like I can't get too much into fighting games. I'm not a big fighting game.
You're talking about
what was it called?
Next Dimension.
Yes, it was a great game, but I just, again, not a fan of fighting games. Not my thing.
Yeah,
this is the first like open world, sort of do whatever you want.
Yeah, and in the Spider-Verse,
there was actually a bunch of Spider-Man games. Now I'm thinking about it.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3.
And then after
that weird one you got for GameCube that was based on like Ultimate Spider. Was it called Ultimate Spider-Man, actually?
I think so.
Because there was like a way to switch to Venom or something.
Yeah, it was weird. I remember playing it. It was kind of fun. Like, it was like the gameplay was fun. I don't know how great the story was, but I remember it being kind of fun, but I didn't play it that much. It wasn't as big as Spider-Man 2 or as good as Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a lot of 2s on this list.
Yes, Toy Story 2.
Toy Story 2. I don't know what's the magic number with sequel movies getting great games, but Toy Story 2 is an older one. That was an N64 game. We put a lot of game time into that because we were young and sucked, and it got stuck on things. I remember the game being a little glitchy in certain aspects, like trying to get to certain areas, and I feel like maybe we weren't necessarily supposed to be able to walk on certain things, and we kind of did it anyway.
That was kind of part of gaming back then, right? Like you were just oh, I really want to do this, but I'm going to keep jumping into this corner until I break the game. Because that's just what you do back then.
I remember a lot of things like that. So for those of you who've never played it, you play as Buzz Lightyear. His wings, you don't fly. You do a fall with style kind of thing, because you can output your wings, and it kind of slows your fall here for a second, and then you just kind of clunk down. He goes, whoa, remember? Whoa,
yeah, whoa,
whoa. And if you glitch, you're just saying whoa as you're stuck on top of something, because the game thinks you're falling when you're actually just stuck on top of something.
And then that was the game. That one had the little guys that were saying over here.
Yep.
Over here. Right?
Or
is that
over here? Yippee. Is that Banjo-Kazooie, or is that...
No. It's either Toy Story 1 or Toy Story 2.
Okay, no, I don't.
It was
I
Toy
don't know
Story
about
2?
Toy Story 1, but I think it was Toy Story 2, because in each level you can rescue X amount of the little green alien guys.
Oh.
That's what they were.
I remember that there was that one course where you had to make paint, and you had the certain colors of paint. And I was playing it, and I didn't understand that you actually had to make the colors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understood, like, I was like, okay, this and this, but I don't understand, like, what's the correlation? Like, I didn't get that you were supposed to mix it. Like, I knew that certain colors made a color, but I didn't understand that that's what was actually happening.
That sounds familiar. I think that was one of those ones where maybe we were all trying to figure it out.
And we were just it was just like a really dumb
there's nothing
moment.
that explains it.
Right.
You know?
There was that's the one thing about that game is there's zero explanation into that game. Because that's the same course that has little guys that are screaming over here, because they're the little construction guys.
I think that's all of them.
All the guys say that?
I think each level
has them?
Has them to be able to save.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I just specifically remember that one more, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I remember like the Andy's room level. You know, there is the iconic yellow and you know, with a red star ball, the yellow ball.
Right, yeah.
You know, there was what's the thing that the babies are in? The
a crib?
Yeah, so there's the crib, you know, the bed. You know, you could go all around the room and it'll get you higher and higher, you know, to get things. I remember the prospector boss.
Oh, I remember the second you said that, it was creepy.
Boss.
Yeah.
It was creepy and it was hard.
Yeah.
You know, it was difficult. And he didn't, was he in the box? I want to say, like, you're fighting him in the box, and
yes,
the box was like, right? Or am I just
I think
losing
you're right.
my mind?
It was a little scarring, I think.
You fight Zurg.
Yes.
Evil Emperor Zurg. That was a big one. Yeah.
I just the most I remember is the construction course. I think I was stuck on it for so long.
Construction course. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That's where you made the paint stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what's another
sticking with the twos? Shrek 2.
Shrek 2, and I came up with this one like last minute, and there's so many good games. I think we might have to end up doing 2 episodes, but Shrek 2 the game, like I was never a big Shrek fan.
Me either.
I'm not even sure how I got Shrek 2 the game.
I think somebody bought it for you for like a birthday. It
must have been a birthday or a Christmas present, because it's just so random. It's not something like I would have picked out, unless I must have asked for it because I heard it was good. Maybe. I don't know. I was never really into Shrek. I didn't even really care for the first one, but the second one was actually pretty good. And the game, I think, made it better. You know, one pattern here I see with a lot of these really good games is the couch co-op aspect just being there 100%. And enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, like most of the games, if not all of them, had that. I mean, Toy Story 2 didn't, but Goldeneye, Lord of the Rings, like it's that couch co-op that really, you know, drives it home. And in Shrek 2, so you could be Shrek, you could be Fiona, but you can also be like Puss in Boots.
Gingerbread Man.
That's right.
And I think Pinocchio.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
Everyone loved Puss in Boots. You know, like that was. It was
basically
Banderas.
us fighting over who's Puss in Boots and who's Gingerbread Man.
Is that what it was?
Because nobody wanted to be anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Yeah, because they were the best characters. The game was fun. I don't even know if I saw Shrek 2.
We saw it.
We did?
Yeah.
It just for me, it wasn't very memorable. I didn't really care for Shrek at all.
I want to say we saw it multiple times.
What?
Yeah. I want to say yes.
I don't know.
Because I think we saw it and we went to like the dollar theater. You know? Do you know the Muffin Man?
Actually, now that you say the dollar theater, I think I remember that.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
Anyway,
we used to quote that all the time.
Yeah, I know we used to quote it all the time, but we played the game so much too.
That's true.
I do feel like the game was way better than the movie. 100%. I would back that up.
Sure.
All day.
Sure.
It was just it was like a linear story. You had to follow it, and you picked your certain characters and they had certain abilities, and it was just a fun co-op game to play.
Yeah. And you pretty much just played through Shrek 2.
Yeah, they had the cutscenes, which I think it was exactly like the cutscenes, the same, like it was the movie, right?
I don't remember.
Or was it a little like the graphics of the video game? I want to say it was the movie. I want to say the cutscenes were clips of the movie.
I think so.
Which made it a little more enjoyable.
Because it was
kind of cool.
I think Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
All right. So moving on to another type of cartoon is Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo. This was more something you played.
This is more something for me. Finding Nemo was a great game. And I'm not just saying that because as a kid, I love Finding Nemo. I literally watched it like every night before I went to bed. And I'm okay with admitting that. I watched it like 60 times. I love that. I used to rewind the tape right before I went to bed and played it again.
Finding Nemo for me was like I was in my teens, and I remember going to watch that movie in theaters with my friends. And that was the first time as like an aware person that like going into a Disney movie, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the beginning of this is really depressing.
Oh, like it hurt. It was like
really
sad.
Oh my gosh, like this. And then it was from there on, like talking about it, like going back and look like, oh my gosh, Lion King was sad. And like Aladdin had a sad moment. And like everything had like something like really sad. And like, anyway, that was my first realization.
Oh, okay. Well, it's glad to know that Finding Nemo gave you that. But the video game was great. It was so much fun to play through. Certain courses were actually difficult. Like it was actually difficult for me.
I remember helping you with certain things. I'm like, wow, this is difficult.
Yeah. And I remember especially specifically jellyfish course. You had to bounce on the jellyfish and it was just like impossible. I'm sure if I played it now, it'd probably be like a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Because this is how it is when you're a little kid. Little things are so difficult and it's just a joke.
Was there something with mines you had to go through and there was the underwater mines?
That was I think it was a separate course, yeah, but
that wasn't it.
There was that wasn't it.
I feel like I remember that. Like maybe helping you with that or something.
Yeah, I think you were also getting chased by the shark. The big bad shark where he goes bad because you start bleeding or whatever and he's chasing you and you have to go through the mines and try to get out of there.
Yeah.
That game was fun. It's just a good mention. But something that we both played.
Okay.
Onto some Star Wars pod racing.
Yes, and I was trying to figure out if this even counted because there was an episode 1 game. I don't think you played it. We had it for PC.
I did not play it.
That game was glitchy. It was a lot of fun. It was really hard in some parts. The droidy cars were very hard to kill. I eventually just started charging them and swinging my lightsaber because I couldn't figure out how to deflect. But one thing I want to mention about that real quick before that stood out to me. When you get to the Gungan area, if you kill any of because you can kill the Gungan, the rest of them would just rush you and kill you.
Wow.
Like I remember discovering that, and like you can even be mean about it because you're talking to Qui-Gon as your Obi-Wan, and one of the options you can choose is like why do we have to worry about this worthless creature? And like Qui-Gon kind of like reprimands you for being negative.
I actually remember this
about Jar Jar.
I remember this part.
You do?
Yeah. But it's not me playing. I think it's me watching you play.
Yeah. And I don't know how far I really got in that. I probably got stuck. But yeah, the Star Wars pod racing, one of the probably greatest games of all time, if not greatest racing games of all time. You know, people want to see that remade. definitely one of the greatest Star Wars games of all time for sure. Man, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Like, I mean, like, it was so good. Like
high replay value.
Yeah.
Lots of I shouldn't say customizations, leveling up, right? Because you had to get better.
Different parts.
Right, different parts to level up your vehicle. And then you had to unlock certain characters, which they unlocked their vehicle. And their vehicle was like, it's kind of like any racing game where all their vehicles really fast off the rip, or their max speed is high, but they don't accelerate very well. But the big thing was you had to try to unlock, oh my gosh, what's his name? The main guy. Sebulba. He had the best. I think he had the best by far. Racer besides Anakin.
He was pretty good.
Or was there another one, like a secret one that you had to get, that you could get to?
There was one. I don't remember who it was, but somebody was also pretty good. Other than Sebulba, which I don't know. Like, when around the time that movie came out, like, I really liked Sebulba. I don't really know why, because looking back now, I'm like, well, what did I like? Was it just the pod racing game that really?
I think it was just the way his ship looked, maybe.
I guess. I mean,
or maybe just like being, I'm Sebulba, or is that
that's Watto?
That's Watto. Yeah, no.
He's like Jagandi Dota, because he spoke like Cutnese or whatever. You dinka banta poodoo.
I remember thinking poo-poo as a child when he said that.
Yeah, poodoo. Yes, it actually was a reference to that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's George Lucas there.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't. Yeah, the last course in particular was very difficult. I feel like I remember like that motivating us to like, kind of like playing pod racer like in real life. Like I remember doing that as well. But yeah, it counts as a movie game.
I think so.
It's based on one particular scene that was like half of the movie. Anyway.
That was half the movie. Yeah, I mean, basically was episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun. There was a lot to it. I think one of the cool things too was that one course that you were talking about in particular, that was basically the whole movie. There's so many different like ways to go.
Oh, on Tatooine.
Yeah. That it made it almost unique whenever you went to do it. Sure, you kind of eventually remembered, okay, I go right, and then I'll go left here. Mm-hmm. But if for whatever reason, you got knocked into a different lane that you weren't used to by another pod racers, because part of it was getting knocked and pushed and stuff. You would be back to right, left, get out of the way of the old walls and stuff and the pillars that you could crash into.
Yeah, because if you hit something too hard, like your racer would just explode, and you'd have to respawn.
Yeah, and if you respawned, it was basically you're back in. It was kind of like oh my gosh, kind of like Mario Kart, where it's like, well, you're basically in last place now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was very difficult, especially if you're trying to come in first place and trying to beat what's his name, Sebulba.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was actually difficult to beat him.
Mm-hmm. And of course you bought all your pod racer parts from Watto, which was
he always said the same thing all the time. Yes. And what was it? What did he say all the time?
They come here and mess up my store. Oh!
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that brings back. You literally said that. And it brings back so many memories. Oh my gosh.
Outlanders. They come here. How do they find me? Oh, they come here and mess up my store. Oh.
Yeah, that's it. And that was it. It was like on repeat. Like after a couple of seconds, it would just repeat. And because I remember leaving it on pause. We'd leave, come back. Because you never wanted to just turn off your game. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. That brings back so many memories. That's so crazy.
But he would say other things occasionally, like, I'm betting everything on Sebulba. He always wins. Which was a line from the movie.
Right.
But yeah, I can't believe I pulled that out in the crevices of my mind.
As soon as you said it, like it came rushing back to me.
It's like, I have heard this hundreds of times.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
That makes me think that we should do a podcast on old commercials that we still remember.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Mr. Bucket. And we're going to leave it at that. Gosh, do we have any more here before we wrap it up?
I think that's
here?
it for today.
Okay. Besides, I guess we'll do an honorable mention to X-Men 2, which was just essentially a Wolverine game.
Right. Yeah, it was a Wolverine. It was Wolverine's origin, but it was just his actual origin. Like you were,
I
it was
guess
Weapon
so.
X, I guess. And
I'm not even sure we ever got far enough to really see if it got into X-Men.
It was
stuff.
difficult.
Yeah.
It was very difficult.
Yeah.
Because you would just get pelted with bullets and you'd be taking more damage than his regeneration factor could heal. It was,
yeah.
And I think there was a course where your regeneration factor wasn't working or something.
Interesting.
And it was hard. But yes, an honorable mention. It was actually a good game.
Yeah,
it was difficult.
Honorable mention. Not sure if it exactly qualifies, but it pretended to be a movie, video game based on a movie. But we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us this week. This was a particularly fun episode. Quite a trip down memory lane there.
Yeah, it was.
Be interesting to see if we can come up with some more modern video games too that fit this criteria. But we definitely plan on doing bad video game that are based on movies down the road. I think we've got a few of those already lined up. But thank you all for listening and sharing and subscribing. Once again, don't forget to tell your friends. And if you can leave us any reviews on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, or Podbean, we'd greatly appreciate that. Or wherever you're listening to Nightcap Chat. I mean, we're on things that I don't even know what they're called. Anything that pulls from iTunes, essentially. But appreciate you taking the time. We're on Facebook and Twitter at Nightcap Chat, and on Instagram, Nightcap_chat. And
I'm Lance O'Neill, and I'm on twitch.tv/Tales of Lance. That's TALES for Tales, not TAAILS. But yeah, you can come see me there, and maybe I'll be playing one of these games we were talking about, or you can tell me what your favorite game was.
Yeah, maybe we'll plan some special Twitch streams in the future with some of these. It might be fun. Thank you all for listening, and we will catch you all next week.
Have a good night.